Welcome to the Bible Quiz. The book of 2 Kings is filled with dramatic moments, miraculous events, and key figures who shape the history of Israel and Judah. From flaming chariots to miraculous healings, this quiz will test your knowledge of the prophets, kings, and divine interventions that shape this fascinating book of the Bible. Before you begin, subscribe and like this video if you enjoy learning more about the Bible. Don't forget to share your score in the comments. We'd love to see how well you did. Are you ready to put your knowledge of 2 Kings to the test? Let's get started. Question 1. What caused the Arameans surrounding Jerusalem to abandon their camp and run for their lives in 2 Kings? A plague struck them. B. Fire consumed their supplies. C. An angel destroyed their camp. D. They heard the sound of a great army. You get 10 seconds. That's D. They heard the sound of a great army. 2 Kings chapter 7 verses 6 to 7. God caused the Arameans to hear the sound of a powerful army, leading them to flee in panic and abandon their camp. They believed Israel had allied with other nations. This miraculous event fulfilled Elisha's prophecy, ending the siege and showcasing God's ability to deliver his people in extraordinary ways. Question 2. What did God replenish in a jar for the widow through Elisha to help pay her debts? A. Oil. B. Wine. C. Flour. D. Water. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Oil. In 2 Kings chapter 4 verses 1 to 7, a widow of a prophet came to Elisha for help, fearing the loss of her sons to creditors. Elisha instructed her to gather empty jars, and God miraculously replenished the jar of oil until every container was filled. She sold the oil, paid her debts, and had enough left to live on, showing God's care and provision for those in need. Question 3. What happened to a man thrown into a tomb with Elisha's bones? A. He was healed. B. He turned to dust. C. He remained dead. D. He came back to life. You get 10 seconds. That's D. He came back to life. According to the 2 Kings chapter 13 verses 20 to 21, a group of men was burying a body when they saw a raiding party. In their haste, they threw the body into Elisha's tomb. As soon as the body touched Elisha's bones, the man came back to life and stood up. This miraculous event demonstrated the lingering power of God through his prophet, even after Elisha's death. Question 4. What did King Ahaz see in Assyria, then sketched it and had a priest build one in Jerusalem? A. An altar. B. A statue. C. A temple. D. A golden calf. You get 10 seconds. That's A. An altar. King Ahaz saw an altar in Damascus, Assyria, and was impressed by its design. 2 Kings chapter 16, verses 10 to 16. He sent a detailed sketch of the altar to the priest Uriah, who built a replica in Jerusalem. Ahaz replaced the original altar in the temple with this new one, an act that reflected his disregard for God's instructions and increased idolatry in Judah. Question 5. What did the prophet predict would lap up Jezebel's blood? A. Lions. B. Dogs. C. Ravens. D. Wolves. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Dogs. In 2 Kings, 9 verse 36, the prophet Elijah's earlier prophecy in 1 Kings chapter 21, verse 23 was fulfilled when dogs licked up Jezebel's blood after her death. Jezebel was thrown from a window, trampled by horses, and devoured by dogs, leaving only her skull, feet, and hands. This gruesome event demonstrated God's judgment on Jezebel for her wickedness and idolatry, serving as a warning against defiance of God. Adored mate, subscribe today and become part of our community. May God bless you. Question 6. When Israel was destroyed, who was the king of Judah who removed much of the idol worship around Jerusalem? A. Joash. B. Manasseh. C. Hezekiah. D. Jehoshaphat. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Hezekiah. After the fall of Israel, King Hezekiah of Judah initiated major religious reforms, removing high places, smashing sacred stones, and destroying the bronze serpent that had become an object of worship. 2 Kings chapter 18, verses 1 to 6. Hezekiah trusted in the Lord more than any other king of Judah before or after him, leading Judah back to the worship of the true God during a critical time in their history. Question 7. What appeared and took Elijah into heaven? A. A cloud. B. An angel. C. A chariot of fire. D. The Lord's hand. You get 10 seconds. That's C. A chariot of fire. 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 11, as Elijah and Elisha were walking together, a chariot of fire with horses of fire appeared and separated them, and Elijah was taken up into heaven by a whirlwind. This miraculous event was a sign of Elijah's special relationship with God and marked a unique departure from earthly life without experiencing death. It also symbolized the passing of prophetic leadership to Elisha. Question 8. A poultice of what fruit was applied to King Hezekiah's boil to heal him? A. Figs. B. Dates. C. Olives. D. Grapes. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Figs. 2 Kings chapter 20 verse 7, when King Hezekiah fell ill, the prophet Isaiah instructed that a poultice of figs be applied to his boil. After following these instructions, Hezekiah was healed, and God added 15 more years to his life. This account highlights God's mercy and willingness to heal in response to prayer and faith. Question 9. What distinguished Joash from all the other kings of Judah? A. He ruled for the shortest time. B. He was the only king who ruled during a time of peace. C. He rebuilt the walls of Jerusalem. D. He was the youngest king to ascend the throne. You get 10 seconds. That's D. He was the youngest king to ascend the throne. Joash, also known as Jehosh, became king of Judah at 7 years old, making him the youngest to rule. He was hidden during Queen Athaliah's purge and later crowned under the guidance of Jehoiada, the high priest. Joash's early reign was notable for religious reforms, including restoring the temple, demonstrating his initial faithfulness to God. 2 Kings chapter 11, verse 21. Question 10. Which king of Judah's evil deeds led God to promise Judah's destruction? A. Ahaz. B. Manasseh. C. Jehoram. D. Zedekiah. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Manasseh. King Manasseh committed extreme evil, including idol worship, child sacrifice, and shedding innocent blood. 2 Kings chapter 21, verses 1 to 16. His actions provoked God's anger, leading to the prophecy that Judah would be destroyed and exiled. Although Manasseh later repented, 2 Chronicles chapter 33, verses 10 to 13, the consequences of his reign lingered, and his sins were cited as a key reason for Judah's eventual downfall. Question 11. To defeat the Aramean army, what did Elisha use to strike them? A. Thunder. B. His staff. C. Blindness. D. Fire from heaven. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Blindness. 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 18. When the Aramean army came to capture Elisha, he prayed to God, and they were struck with blindness. Elisha then led the blinded soldiers to Samaria, where they were spared and sent back unharmed. This event demonstrated God's power to protect his prophet and his people through non-violent means, emphasizing divine intervention over physical force. Question 12. When surrounded by an enemy, what did Elisha allow his servant to see? A. A heavenly ladder. B. A great earthquake. C. An army of warriors. D. Angels and chariots of fire. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Angels and chariots of fire. When Elisha's servant was afraid after seeing the Aramean army surrounding them, Elisha prayed that God would open his servant's eyes. 2 Kings chapter 6, verses 15 to 17. The servant then saw a heavenly army with angels and chariots of fire surrounding them on the hills. This vision reassured the servant of God's protection and highlighted that God's power is far greater than any earthly threat. Question 13. What did the boy do 7 times before Elisha raised him from the dead? A. Sneezed. B. Coughed. C. Blinked. D. Cried. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Sneezed. In 2 Kings chapter 4, verses 32 to 35, after Elisha prayed and laid on the boy, the child sneezed 7 times and opened his eyes, indicating that he was alive. This miraculous event demonstrated God's power to restore life through his prophet Elisha and reinforced the faith of the boy's mother, who had trusted in Elisha's word. Question 14. What did Joash do to the temple that no other king before him had done? A. Expanded it. B. Repaired it. C. Destroyed it. D. Decorated it with gold. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Repaired it. Joash initiated the repair of the temple, which had been neglected and damaged over time. He ordered that funds collected from offerings be used to restore it. 2 Kings chapter 12, verses 4 to 14. This act distinguished Joash from other kings before him, showing his early dedication to preserving the worship of God. His efforts revitalized temple worship, emphasizing the importance of honoring God's house. Question 15. What was Nehushtan, which became worshipped as an idol by the people of Israel? A. A stone altar. B. A golden calf. C. A sacred tree. D. A bronze serpent. You get 10 seconds. That's D. A bronze serpent. In 2 Kings chapter 18, verse 4, King Hezekiah destroyed Nehushtan, the bronze serpent made by Moses, Numbers chapter 21, verse 9, which had become an idol. Though originally intended to heal the Israelites, it was later worshipped improperly. Hezekiah's action demonstrated his commitment to eliminating idolatry and restoring true worship in Judah. Question 16. What item did Elisha cause to float miraculously after it fell into the water? A. A scroll. B. A shield. C. A sandal. D. An axe head. You get 10 seconds. That's D. An axe head. When a prophet's servant accidentally dropped an axe head into the river while cutting wood, he cried out to Elisha because it was borrowed. 2 Kings 6, verses 5 to 7. Elisha cut a stick, threw it into the water at the spot where the axe head had sunk, and miraculously caused it to float. This event demonstrated God's care even in small matters and affirmed Elisha's prophetic authority. Question 17. Which nation did God allow to invade and resettle the northern tribes of Israel? A. Egypt. B. Persia. C. Assyria. D. Babylon. You get 10 seconds. That's C, Assyria. Because of Israel's persistent idolatry and disobedience, God allowed the Assyrian Empire to invade the northern kingdom of Israel. The Assyrians captured Samaria, deported the Israelites, and resettled them in various parts of their empire. This marked the fall of the northern kingdom and served as a warning about the consequences of turning away from God. 2 Kings 17 verses 5 to 6. Question 18. Which major prophet did King Hezekiah work with? A. Daniel. B. Isaiah. C. Ezekiel. D. Jeremiah. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Isaiah. During the Assyrian siege of Jerusalem, King Hezekiah sought counsel from the prophet Isaiah, 2 Kings chapter 19 verses 1 to 7. Isaiah conveyed God's assurance that Jerusalem would be protected. This partnership illustrates Hezekiah's faith in God and his trust in prophetic guidance during a critical period of national threat. Question 19. Which of these was not a name of a king mentioned in 2 Kings chapter 13? A. Jezreel. B. Jehosh. C. Jehoahaz. D. Jeroboam. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Jezreel. In 2 Kings chapter 13, Jehoahaz and Jehosh, also called Joash, were kings of Israel, and Jeroboam is mentioned as the future king who would continue the line. Jezreel, however, is not a person but a place in Israel. The chapter focuses on the reigns of Jehoahaz and Jehosh and their struggles against the Arameans, reflecting the continued decline of Israel due to idolatry. Question 20. To encourage Hezekiah, what did Isaiah ask the Lord to do to a shadow? A. Stop it. B. Shorten it. C. Reverse it. D. Lengthen it. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Reverse it. 2 Kings chapter 20 verses 8 to 11 as a sign that God would heal King Hezekiah and extend his life by 15 years, Isaiah prayed for a shadow on the sundial to go backward by 10 steps. God miraculously caused the shadow to move in reverse, confirming his promise. This extraordinary sign demonstrated God's power over time and nature, offering assurance to Hezekiah in a critical moment. Stay with us until the end of the video to see how many Bible quiz questions you got right. Don't forget to note your score and share it with us in the comments section. Let's explore and learn more about the Bible with these fun and interesting questions. Question 21. What miracle of Moses did Elisha repeat to show he was the new Elijah? A. Parting the water. B. Bringing water from a rock. C. Turning a staff into a serpent. D. Calling down fire from heaven. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Parting the water. After Elijah was taken to heaven, Elisha struck the Jordan River with Elijah's cloak and the water parted, allowing him to cross on dry ground. 2 Kings chapter 2 verses 13 to 14. This miracle mirrored Moses parting the Red Sea, Exodus chapter 14 verses 21 to 22, and showed that Elisha had inherited Elijah's prophetic authority. The event also affirmed God's continued presence and power with his chosen leader. Question 22. What was Athaliah's relationship with Joash, whom she tried to kill to take over the throne? A. Aunt. B. Sister. C. Mother. D. Grandmother. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Grandmother. Athaliah, the mother of King Ahaziah, sought to kill all royal heirs after her son's death to seize the throne. 2 Kings chapter 11 verses 1 to 3. However, Joash, her grandson, was secretly hidden by his aunt Jehosheba and later proclaimed king. Athaliah's attempt to destroy the Davidic line failed, and she was ultimately executed. This story highlights God's protection over the lineage of David, fulfilling his covenant promise. Question 23. Who was the last official king of Jerusalem, Judah? A. Jehoiakim. B. Zedekiah. C. Manasseh. D. Jehoiachin. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Zedekiah. Zedekiah was the last king of Judah before Jerusalem was captured by the Babylonians. 2 Kings chapters 24 to 25. He was placed on the throne by King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, but later rebelled against him. This led to the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple in 586 BC. Zedekiah was captured, blinded, and taken to Babylon, marking the end of the kingdom of Judah until the return from exile. Question 24. Who did Nebuchadnezzar appoint as governor of Judah, who was later killed by his people after 7 months? A. Eliakim. B. Zedekiah. C. Gedaliah. D. Jehoiachin. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Gedaliah. 2 Kings chapter 25 verses 22 to 25. After the destruction of Jerusalem, Nebuchadnezzar appointed Gedaliah as governor over the remnant of Judah. He governed from Mizpah and encouraged the remaining people to live peacefully under Babylonian rule. However, after 7 months, Gedaliah was assassinated by Ishmael, a member of the royal family, which led to further chaos and the eventual flight of many survivors to Egypt. Question 25. How did King Ahaziah die in 2 Kings chapter 1? A. Killed in battle. B. Fell through a lattice. C. Struck by lightning. D. Poisoned by his servants. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Fell through a lattice. King Ahaziah of Israel fell through a lattice in his upper room and was severely injured. 2 Kings chapter 1 verses 2 to 17. He sent messengers to inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron, about his recovery. However, the prophet Elijah intercepted them and delivered God's message. Because Ahaziah sought help from a pagan god instead of the Lord, he would not recover. Shortly afterward, Ahaziah died, fulfilling Elijah's prophecy. Fantastic! Congratulations on completing the ultimate 2 Kings quiz. Whether you got every question right or learned something new, each answer brings us closer to understanding God's power, faithfulness, and the role of His prophets and kings throughout history. If you enjoyed this quiz, please like, share, and subscribe for more Bible quizzes and engaging content. Thank you for joining us, and may your continued study of God's Word inspire and bless you. See you in the next quiz.